All right, guys, we're going to go over a frequently asked JavaScript interview questions. How to sort an array two ways, with one way being a bubble sort. Okay, let's do this. Let's do const bubble sorter is equal to an anonymous function that takes in an array, and then I'm going to open this up. Now, to do this properly, we're going to need two nested loops. We're going to see why. First one is just I, and we're going to run this as long as ar.length, and then I++. And then right away, inside of the first for loop, we're going to need to run a second for loop. But the second for loop is going to start at I plus 1, right? Because we need to compare the first value 400 and then the second value. So that's the inner loop right here. And then j, that's an ar.length, and then j++ once again. Okay, now in here, I'm going to create a variable temp. Let temp will be equal to ARR at I, so for the outer one. And then we can do if ARR at the previous index is greater than ARR at the next index, right? Then what are we going to do? We're going to say ARR at I is now equal to ARR at j. Okay. And now ARR at j will be equal to AR at i's old value, but we already assigned AR at I, so that's why we have to have a temp variable here. Equal to temp, and then after everything, let's return the array itself. Let's console.log it, AR, okay, and then now I'm gonna call bubble sorter, passing in my unsorted ARR. See, and you see that we sorted this correctly. Let's move on to way 2 with using math.min and a while loop. So const new sorter will be equal to the same thing, takes in an array. Okay. Now, this is going to be handled a little bit differently. I'm going to do const copy will be equal to, you can either do this to make a copy of the original array, or you can even do ARR.slice like this. Okay. Now I will simply create our answers array. Const answer is equal to an empty array. Then I'll do a while loop. I won't put the conditions in yet, but let's talk about what we want to do inside this while loop. First, we're gonna have to find the minimum index. What does that mean? That means, hey, find the smallest number in here using math.min and give me its index. So const min index will be equal to ARR dot index of, but index of what? Index of math.min, and we're going to spread in ARR. Okay, so it's going to find the smallest numbers index, and then we can take answer.push. What are we pushing in? Well, we're going to push in ARR.splice, and then what are we splicing? Well, we're splicing from the minimum index that we found, and we're only cutting that part out. Okay. And then down here, we can do console.log answer, and then also return answer. And now we can put in our condition. So this while loop will run as long as answers array.length is less than copy.length. Okay. So this is why we needed to use the copy array to make a copy of the array. Okay. Because if we didn't make a copy, it's not going to work because we're splicing our original array. So we're mutating it. And since our while loop is dependent on the length and we're splicing it, we're going to get a lot of errors that we don't want. Okay, so that's why we had to make a copy first. All right. So now you see that we get the same answer as our bubble sorter. Cool, right?